This video will provide you a short overview of the key components of using Excel. So if you're new to Excel, hopefully this presentation will help you figure out how to do the following. I'm going to identify some of the components within the Excel spreadsheet, give you an overview of what formulas are all about, how to enter labels and values within a formula, use the most common function of AutoSum, how to edit cells, enter data, do a few simple formulas using some operators, how to switch between some worksheet views, and look at some of the printing options. So to demonstrate the spreadsheet that you will see if you open up Excel, you'll notice a few things. Okay, so of course you have all of your various tabs and you have your ribbons. For this presentation, which is part one, I just want to show you some of those key features within Excel, such as number one, the name box. The name box is going to change anytime you select an active cell. So a cell is going to be any of these green sections that are selected. So when you select those, you'll also notice something that's called the formula bar, which is listed up above. The formula bar is going to display any data that is listed within the cell. Notice how my name box and my formula bar switches as I select the various active cells. Another important feature within the worksheet that is important to note is going to be the term range. So anytime you select several cells, notice I'm selecting this range of cells here, that once that's selected, if you go down to what is called the status bar, it will give you the count of the cells that have been selected as well as a sum and an average. These are going to be those common formulas that are available, calculations that are available anytime you select more than one cell within your worksheet. Before I move to talking about formulas, let's review the purpose of the workbook, which is going to be all of this file. So anytime you save a file within Excel, it becomes a workbook, and you can create as many worksheets as you choose within Excel by choosing this plus symbol, and it allows you to add, edit, change data to any of these sheets within this workbook. So a really neat feature to keep all of your information together. Now let's talk about a formula and the purpose of a formula. So a formula can be written by either clicking within the formula bar or in the actual active cell. And anytime you start creating a formula, that has to begin with the equal sign. The equal sign is going to indicate to the spreadsheet that you are ready to calculate a formula. So in this case, when you enter that equal sign in, then the Excel spreadsheet is ready to go. So I want to demonstrate first the formula of calculating the sum. So what if I want to sum in the total hours that are listed here? In writing in a formula, it always starts with equals, and I want to do the sum. So the neat thing about Excel, if you start putting in what you want to do, you'll get these options that come up. So if I choose this sum function, it's going to then ask me, well, what do you want to sum? Well, I want to sum all of them. So the beauty of Excel is it allows me to just copy and drag, select that range, and then hit enter, and it will calculate the sum. Another way to do the sum, okay, so anytime you want to not do something, you can either click the active cell, hit delete, and it will delete that contents out, is to go up to your home tab on your ribbon and select AutoSum. It's the same formula. And AutoSum is the only thing you have to do is select it, and it will automatically select the cells that you want, hit enter, and your value then shows. It's important to make sure that wherever you want your total to show, it is selected in that cell. Because if I went to this and clicked here and hit auto sum, it's going to sum those numbers that's above and actually take that data out. So make sure wherever you want to select that value to show, you're selecting the correct active cell. Okay, so it's important to have your labels as well as your values in the appropriate order when you are creating your Excel data. Now you can enter data anytime you want and type it in as if you were typing any data into Word. So notice I put a total column in there, and it allows me to enter that information in. So inputting a simple formula, we can input simple formulas within Excel, and I'm going to put in a simple formula of gross pay. I'll put in an equal sign, and anytime you are creating formulas within Excel, we want to do a cell reference. A cell reference is going to reference the data within the cell versus putting in the actual number. So in this case, if I calculate gross pay, I want to then take the values of the regular pay and I'm going to add that. So remember, use your operators of plus to the overtime pay. And this is my formula, and I press enter. Okay. When you press enter, it's going to calculate that data and drop it in. If I click on the cell, it allows me to see what the formula is in the formula bar, and also notice my name box of what cell I have selected. Now, the feature of the autofill, which is so nice with Excel, is that I don't have to go to each of these cells and enter in that same formula that I want. I can just highlight the cell, which is now active, and then go to this box. Notice my cursor changes to the plus sign. I then click and drag. Once I click and drag and release, it's going to automatically calculate and use this formula, but yet notice how look up here in my formula bar, notice how the cell references change based upon the formula that I want. This is how smart Excel is. It automatically will select those cells and reference those cells, but keep the same sequence of that formula. Okay. Good important feature. Also remember the importance of the operators. And with the operators, it is order operations. So if we take a look at this formula of calculating the overtime pay, the order of operation is important. So Excel is like a calculator, okay, where you're entering in data, but yet you're able to see all the data on a document, okay, which this is a spreadsheet. The beauty of having values and labels right here together. So order of operation, remember, if you are creating a formula, that using parentheses is going to do the calculation first, which you learned back in elementary school. And then from there, you can put that formula in, and notice we have our multiplying. We want this to do first. It's separated with parentheses, and then it will calculate that overtime pay for you. So go back to the beginning of learning how to do order of operations. That's going to be important if you are setting up a formula to calculate in that manner. Within Excel, so once you kind of enter in your data, you can put in any clip art, you can design it any way you want. You do have the ability to change views, and our views are going to be located on our status at the bottom here, where this is our normal view that gives us what this spreadsheet would look like. We also have a page layout view, which allows you to see what it would look like if you printed it out, which gives you the ability to see the header and the footer and to make changes to the header or the footer, okay? So I'm showing you here of how you can type in information into the header or the footer. You have the ability to put in page numbers or whatever you want in the header, as well as here's the ability in the footer. And anytime you want to make those changes to the header or footer, you'll go to the header and footer tabs and be able to make those changes. The one view I want to take a moment to focus on, and you have to make sure you click out of it, okay, is the view of having, and I'm going to also go to the view tab, and this is the page break view. And this page break preview allows you to see what your document would look like if you wanted to print it. And the ability of the page break preview, it gives you the ability to move maybe your information onto one page. Okay, so notice how I drag it. Now it's on one page, but I'm missing data. So what if I wanted to make sure everything is on the same page? Then I'll just drag my one page out to be able to see everything on one page. The page preview allows you to be able to do that and being able to see all of your data on one page. If that doesn't work for you, and I'm going to click undo, you can always go to your page layout, go to orientation, and then change it to landscape. That gives you the ability of not having to do any modifications in that other view, and this as well by putting it in landscape versus the portrait view. When you get ready to print it, it'll print it out on all of it on one page versus your data in your spreadsheet being broken up into multiple pages. Printing is the feature that's important for everybody to know as well, is that you can print, go to your print tab, and you have the ability to choose which of those sheets you want to print. You can print the entire workbook or just some active worksheets. Here again is the ability to change it back to the different orientation. If you want it back in portrait, notice how our data is not all on one page. But if we change it to landscape, it gives us the ability to have it all on one page. So just those neat features, and then you can print as you choose. I'm going to put this back in our normal view, go back up to our spreadsheet. So a couple of takeaways from this demonstration is really you understanding how to input data into Excel. And it's just clicking on an active cell and typing in data. The other thing to note is the importance of putting in calculations. So you're able to put in calculations by starting your formula with an equal sign and then referencing the data that is within your spreadsheet. Versus putting the numbers in, you want to put in the actual cell reference as indicated here of F11, which is my cell reference. So if you click on the formula bar, it's going to highlight those cells that is within that formula so you can see, well, where did I reference that from? So really some neat features to have. And don't forget about the most common formula that is used, and that is our AutoSum, which can be located on the Home tab right under Editing. And anytime you click the AutoSum, it's going to sum any of the data that's going to be above that cell, active cell, which if I click the AutoSum right here, it's going to sum the data that is above that cell. Always remember your undo button, guys. Anytime you do something you don't want to do, you can always click undo. And the other neat feature I want to review again is the autofill. So if you have created a formula and you want to drag it over to other cells where it's going to be the same calculation, versus you click an AutoSum every time for each cell, you can just click the active cell of where that formula is located, click that bottom box, and then drag your formula over, and that is going to put in the sum of each of these labels and the values that are within those columns. Hope you enjoyed this overview, kind of just an introduction of Excel. Stay tuned for more, and we're going to do more of these overviews of really how to increase your skills using Excel.